Hi, guys, and welcome back to Too Much. Today, I have a very special guest, someone who is not only beautiful inside and out, but someone that I have admired from afar for her strength and her resilience and her grace for so long. So, Gigi Paris, welcome to Too Much.
Thank you, Emma. That was the
Hi.
sweetest introduction. I'm like tearing up over here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's
Oh,
very exciting.
yeah.
So for those who may not know you, do you want to just give a quick little intro of yourself and what you're up to?
My name is Gigi, but my full name is Gian, but everyone calls me Gigi. And I grew up in Miami. I've lived in New York for the past 2 years, and I'm obsessed. I feel like everyone needs a good New York chapter, and I was craving mine for a long time.
Agreed. I always say, well, I mean, everyone always says if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But
Truly.
everyone should always live in New York at some point in their life.
Yeah. I was living in LA for almost 10 years, for all my 20s. And that was great. I moved out there to pursue modeling, ended up staying much longer than I expected, but it was great. And then moved out here and still pursuing modeling, started a clothing company called Gigi Paris. That's like silkwear, loungewear, vintage, and also teach yoga on the side. So a little bit of a few different
Multi-hyphenate you are.
Oh, thank you.
And also, fun fact, Gigi and I met in 2017,
Yeah.
I believe.
I had bangs then. Oh my God.
You had long hair and bangs.
I had
Yeah.
long hair. Oh, and look at us now with
Yeah,
our bobs. I love it.
I just confessed to Gigi that I used her picture when I got my hair cut. So,
love it.
and we hadn't seen each other still in like 10 years. So,
And then I saw Emma recently and I was growing out my bob. It was a lob. It was not cute. And then I saw her cute bob and I
we are just
retrimmed. So
hair inspo. So, we met like 8 years ago and it was on a Free People shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen each other since. But, we followed each other, kept in touch over social media. And then back in 2023, Gigi popped up on my For You page, as I'm sure she did on many of yours, but not necessarily in the way that you would hope. Instead, it was about her breakup with your boyfriend of 4 years. Something that should have been private between the two of you was flooding everyone's feeds and almost all media headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the media, this wasn't just a two-sided breakup, but three-sided. And since then, there's obviously been a lot said. But today, we will hear from the one person who has not spoken about it, Gigi. And this is not just a breakup story, but this is Gigi's own account of what it was like seeing your relationship unravel publicly, having your own narrative written for you, what it's like to grieve and grow at the same time. And also how you got through it and how you're thriving now and where you are today. So first off, I just want to say I am so sorry that you went through that. I mean, I can't even imagine how hard that was for you. And like I said at the beginning, I give you so much props for your resilience and your strength and the grace that you showed throughout all of that. But before we get into the breakup itself, would love to just understand your relationship before it got to that point and, how you guys met, like what your story was.
Well, one of my very good friends actually introduced. I was newly single. I think I was 27 at the time and didn't have a care in the world. So I was super happy. I remember we went on a brunch date and immediately felt butterflies and all that, but didn't really know anything about the person at all. And then COVID hit. And after 4 months or so, I think we started quarantining together, and anyone that was in a quarantine relationship, things progress really quickly or they either escalate or de-escalate. It's one or the other. And things were going really well. And it was great. It was just such a weird fabricated reality though, because that's not real life. We were in our own homes away from reality, and I was crafting every day and he was writing, and it was just
you play house.
We were playing house.
Yeah.
And then real life opened up again. His success skyrocketed, and I was so, so, so proud of him. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, because for so long it was kind of like a
secluded and in your
very, secluded version of that. And then when life opened up again, I was kind of thrown into the whole Hollywood world.
Right.
That I always lived adjacent to, but was never really in it.
What was that adjustment like for you?
It was fun. It didn't feel real. Like, I just felt like, "Oh my god, I get to wear these beautiful dresses
Yeah.
and go to these premieres and meet all these cool people." Like, it was so much fun.
Right.
Just such a wild ride. I was just, like, happy to be a part of it and,
Mhm.
like, didn't really know what to expect. I'm a family person. I like to be at home with my friends and my family and, like, I like things simple.
Mhm.
But I was also really grateful to experience all that and go to such incredible places and see all the magic. But in seeing all of it, I also saw a lot of what it takes to kind of succeed in that world. And I think a lot of the people that I look up to in the industry keep their life pretty private. So
Yeah.
I felt like that was kind of the cooler way to do it,
For sure. I agree
you
also.
know?
There was, like, a quote from, like, I wanna say, like, Christopher Walken or something from 30 years ago that was like, "You should never be everywhere." Like, don't
Yeah.
say yes to everything, and I love
Yeah.
that. I thought it was really cool. Did you like having your relationship public?
I just felt like I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I think with any relationship, it's important for it to have a balance
Mhm.
and for your relationship to just you meet halfway. So I felt like I was sacrificing a lot to show up and be there for that person, but I don't know if it was fully reciprocated. In hindsight, I just don't think it was the right time for either of us. Like where his career was going and probably what I was looking for, you know? I just don't think
It wasn't aligning anymore?
it wasn't aligning anymore. It was for a while until I realized, like, oh, I'm either gonna like hop on this crazy train or I back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Because if I am in any way in the way, I'm just gonna be
Oh,
pushed right off. Yeah.
that's that's a horrible feeling. I remember back then when this went on, and also just the refreshers I was giving myself before today. What was the first thing that you saw in the media that was that speculation that made you say, "Hey, what the fuck is going on?"
I was at work and I was actually like gloating about him at work. And I open up Instagram. Ah, social media can be the worst for relationships. And I open up social media and I'm getting tagged back and forth over like something he captioned or wrote on a photo. And I just screenshot it to him and I said, "Hey, the whole world is watching what you're saying. Like, please just like proceed with caution, please." And that wasn't received well. And from there was a steady decline. And that was probably 6 months before
Oh, wow.
everything. Yeah.
So you were going through that for a while.
Yeah. And what's funny about all of that is that you don't want to seem like the crazy person. You don't want to seem insecure. You don't want to seem jealous. And those words, I promise, only stem from when there's a reason.
Yeah.
Like, I can be the most confident person in the room, but as soon as the person closest to me makes me feel like I have to prove myself in some sort of way, of course I'm going to start questioning, like, wait a second.
You're in the wrong room if you have to start proving
Yeah,
yourself.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone who loves you and adores you, I've learned, should only make you shine and
Yeah.
only lift you up and only have the best things to say about you.
And never make you wonder or question. It should
Never.
be very clear no
Yes.
matter what.
And
Yeah.
when I addressed my concerns, like let's figure it out. Let's meet halfway. And that was just not the case.
When you said that, was there a promise of change and of growth, or it was kind of like, I don't want to say gaslighting, I'm speculating here. This is, by the way, all Gigi's personal experience. These are just our opinions here and our
Yeah.
feelings on it. But was it a matter of gaslighting, like you're wrong, you're crazy?
It wasn't crazy. It was just this is what I have to do for my job.
I see.
I had two options. I could either pretend like I was going along with everything and have everyone wonder, like, are they hooking up? Are they not hooking up? Is she okay with this? What the fuck? Like, or stand up for myself and say, no, I'm actually not okay with this and I'm walking away.
Yeah.
So that's what I decided to do. It wasn't a way to like monetize the breakup. It wasn't a way to twist the story around. Like, I was shattered. Shattered. I was actually trying to get a work visa to go over and work alongside my partner because I didn't want to go visit unless I could also focus on my own career because that was important to me. I'm
'Cause
not going to
you're
put everything
smart.
aside.
Yeah.
That's right. And I'm paying my own
Smart
fucking bills
woman.
here. But yeah, I was waiting for that to happen. And then I saw this shit hit the media and I was like, hello, like, what's going on here? Like, I was completely blindsided.
Was there any sort of a decline in the relationship leading up to that? Like maybe you were unsure about the relationship and then this happened, or this was out of nowhere?
Yeah, no, we had issues. I think every woman
Yeah.
has to listen to their gut.
Women's intuition is the most powerful thing in the world.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't listen to it, it's gonna come and attack you until you have no choice. Like,
Mhm.
it's wild.
Oh, I just got the chills.
Yeah,
That's so true.
I have full goosebumps. Like, the more you ignore it, the more it's just gonna unfold.
Do it for you anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, immediately I felt something odd. I just wanted respect, especially if it's gonna be public. Like, don't make an ass out of me. Like, just don't make a fool out of someone you've been with for over 3 years, talking about forever with.
Right.
Just have some decency, you know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was like, well, work comes first. And if that's the case, that I power to you, that's your priority. I gotta walk away. What sucked was how it was handled. I felt like I was just fed to the dogs. Like, good luck. You handle this. And then as soon as I finally spoke up, there was a bunch of criticism around that and issues about that, how I was twisting the story. But I just hit a threshold of what I could take. And I was just so disappointed. And that was that.
I mean, you're human.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's only so much you can take. And
Yeah.
also, this is a real relationship. Like, this did start from a place of you guys loved each other and you started even
Yeah.
before COVID. And, like, this was never in the limelight when it started.
No, it wasn't make believe.
Right.
And then it just seemed as though make believe was more important than the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say, when you spoke up, did you come out and say something on Instagram?
It was after we had broken up, there was still speculation because I I flew across the world to look at him in the face and say, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, wow.
Which was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. But
That flight must have been.
oh yeah, I was
Oh
bawling.
my
There was
God.
like a whole playlist I was
I'm gonna
listening
bawl.
to. Yeah.
It's like, feel for you.
It was crazy too because I felt like I couldn't really show how I was feeling. So to keep it all inside, I would go to bed and have these crazy dreams of me expressing myself. And then I'd wake up numb. Like I had no energy left. I was a
Yeah.
zombie of myself. And that followed for a long time after. Like if it weren't for my friends who flew to as soon as we broke up, packed up all my shit, moved across the country within like a matter of weeks.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't realize you guys were living together.
uh-huh.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That just adds, I mean, obviously such another layer
Yeah.
of like dividing your life. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not to, not to
No,
really like
it was
hammer the nail, but yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
a lot. And your families become each other's families. Like all of it was just such a weird whiplash
yeah.
of emotions. And I just kept looking forward because I knew that what I had left was never gonna serve me anymore. I know that I deserve a lot better. And I know that the bare minimum of any relationship is to have your partner's back. Period.
I just got the chills again.
Like,
It's so
where
true.
are you when you just need to stand up and say, no, I would never cheat on my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that. That's
And,
all that needed to be said.
and that wasn't said.
Never once. Never once.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of live under a rock sometimes. I knew
So
this
do
went
I.
on.
I tried to live under a
Yeah,
rock
I
during
knew
it.
this went on, but
Yeah.
I didn't know the nuances. I didn't know any of this. But that's so true. And I don't even think that people really took a beat to realize that
Yeah.
there was a third person in this triangle, and everyone was just speculating, are they hooking up? Rather than the collateral damage of the partners.
Yeah.
Like, where is the denial or the ad- admittal? Or like the admitting that it's
Yeah.
true, and like that really didn't happen. It was just kind of this like merry-go-round of
Yeah.
speculation.
Yeah. And that's why I decided not to say anything. Like, the let them theory really is powerful. Also, it was serving them for their PR.
Right.
Like, later on, it turned out that it was all, I don't know if there was a relationship there or not, but then they came out to say it was all a PR scheme at the expense of our relationship. Like, it was just crazy. So I just decided, my friends were so amazing. I would have been in a ditch on a side of a road if it weren't for them. They flew to New York. Like, blocked names off of my social media search engine so nothing would pop up.
Oh.
Because it really, for a time, like, was the only thing for some, I mean, maybe it was just whatever, my algorithm, but it seemed like it was the only thing that was popping up. And I, like, was just in such a fucking rut that my friends just came as my personal PR team and were like holding me down, like, don't say anything, don't do anything. We're going to be okay. It's going to pass. It's going to pass. And it did, luckily. And, you know, it's been 2 years and I never ever said anything because it's like,
Sometimes it's just not worth it.
it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And now the only reason I feel the need, not the need, but like, I don't want to be silenced. Like, that was my fucking story. And anyone who's in any sort of situation like that, I want you to find the strength to walk away. I want you to not feel silenced. Know that there's better out there. Reevaluate your values and see like what you really want and what matters to you.
Yeah. It's kind of a common belief that being the bigger person is staying silent. But I got to tell you, sometimes being the bigger person is getting loud and
Yeah.
being yourself and speaking up because ultimately it empowers other people to do the same.
Yeah.
And I think that you have been the bigger person this entire time and you are still that person speaking up now. It does not take away from the grace that you have had. You are clearly very level-headed and very genuine and kind, and you telling your story does not mean that you are doing anything wrong. It's
Right.
your story. This happened to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was weird. I had never experienced anything like
Yeah.
that because I really felt like I did my best in trying to support and bring those people up. There's only so much you can do, especially when, I don't know, I don't feel like my personal life should be aired out for everyone to know because there's so many details that I could say. I don't know. I just wanted to keep the sanctity of our relationship sort of intact, even though it went into full on shambles. But yeah, I didn't want to tear anyone's name down. I don't think that's fair. I just think it was like pretty obvious what was going on. And if people didn't really see what was going on, that's fine. But to me, it was just like, whoa, that's pretty crazy just to like sell a movie. Or not, who knows? Like, and I honestly hoped that they'd end up together because I was like, at least it would make it worth it for
Right.
me, you know? Like, hope they are in love or whatnot. But
Yeah. So did you ever get clarity of whether or not you were cheated on?
I have heard so many different sides of the story. I have no confirmation of what actually happened. I just know what my standards are. And for me, it just wasn't okay the way it was handled. Period.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
No, that's enough.
sorry.
Whatever
Yeah.
whatever happened was
Yeah,
enough. I
that's
mean,
plenty. There was one specific reason why I flew to Australia to end things.
what was that? Let me get on the edge of my seat.
It's pretty insane. I got a phone call from him right when I was about to go to Australia to work. I had my visa that took me much longer than I anticipated. Meanwhile, all this shit was coming out on the internet and I had jobs lined up. Like I was gonna go ironically to shoot Bridal. I don't know if that's ironic, but
It's ironic.
it felt ironic. I was like,
Very much ironic.
like, you know. And he called and said, the producers and I have discussed that I think it's best that you don't come to visit. To keep yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. And that's when I hung up and I was like, this motherfucker is done to me. Yeah.
Oh, please.
I know.
The way I would have swam.
Yeah.
Fucking swam there.
Yeah.
That, first of all, if it's true, for your partner to hear that coming out of someone else's mouth and not just put the kibosh on it right then and there and say, I'm not saying that to my girlfriend.
Right.
That's one layer of it. And then the fact that there was the audacity to say it to you. You're a saint for not saying anything.
I think that's when I just also fell out of love. I was like,
Right.
where the fuck are your balls?
Yeah.
To stand up for your
morals.
woman. Yeah.
Do you think that the fame like was just getting to his head? Like I feel like that was truly where he skyrocketed, right? before this movie, the one before that.
The thing is, I can't fault him because I know how hard he's worked
Yeah.
to get to where he is. Like, literally since he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Like, it's all he's ever wanted. And he saw an opportunity and was like, I need to fucking run and take this.
I can empathize with the drive, but like for me, for example, almost a year ago now, my boyfriend and I actually had this conversation because I basically told him like I'm gonna be the next call her daddy. Like
Yeah.
that was my sentiment to him. And I even saw her wedding on the cover of Vogue and I was like, that will be
Yes.
me.
I love
I
that.
wanted to say to him that will be us, but it was like still a little soon for me to say that. And basically he was like, I don't know if I want that. And I looked at him and I was like, if you don't, get off the ride
Yeah.
because I am not going to sacrifice that. But we have made the commitment to each other to do this together. And like, I'm trying to like put myself in someone's shoes of the relationship part of like hurting someone as collateral damage for your career.
Right.
And that is where it becomes unacceptable. It's one thing if it's like a conversation with you, but the way it happened.
Yeah, that's what I really couldn't wrap my head around because it just felt like, given everything we had been through and how we've grown close over the years, and I don't know, I just would never treat anyone that way.
Yeah.
And also, you really learn who your friends are and your people during times like that. Like, there were a lot of people that kind of sided one way rather than the other just because of clout.
Clout.
And I was like, cool, like that, you've said enough.
Noted.
And that says everything.
Yeah.
And I just think like human decency is so underrated these days.
And I think it also it speaks to your character. You know, there's always that like people kind of losing their autonomy and losing their friends or something when they're in such like a serious relationship. The fact that you still had all of that just speaks miles to like your character as well. That like there's a lot of love in your life and you still care about everyone in your life, no matter the circumstance.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, if it weren't for them, I really would be so lost.
Yeah. Shout out to the friends.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
You know who you are. But yeah, I think also, you know, when you're at a wedding and you see people giving the vows and you see the interaction, if you don't see that person on the other side of that you're with at the time, like, don't waste a second.
Wait, that's so
Don't waste a second.
true. I can't tell you how many relationships I've been in where like I was like, oh, we're gonna get married, we're gonna get married, but I could never visualize
Really?
their face. But I didn't realize it at the time until my current partner, because then I was like, oh, clearly see him, and I didn't
Yeah.
see anyone else. That is such good advice.
That's amazing. Yeah, I went to one of my best friend's weddings and I remember being in the bathroom with my other friend and I was like, I don't think it's it.
So your gut.
My gut,
When
like,
was that?
it was within those 6 months.
Okay. Were there red flags throughout the relationship that kind of pointed to this that you maybe ignored or were like, I don't know if it's that red, it might be orange?
Yeah. I had no idea how much he was willing to give up or to do in order to make it. Like, I really respect anyone's ambition, but to me, yes, the biggest red flags were not standing up for me in times where he should have. There were people that were very disrespectful to me in certain rooms where he just sat there, and because he didn't want to upset them, that he wouldn't say, hey, that's my girl. I would just feel small because of that. And I would question my worth and question whether I was in the right state of mind because of it, rather than having his support.
Did you ever feel the pressure to shrink yourself or to be silent about all of these things because you're like, this is the job?
In a relationship, I think girls should always be the princess.
Mm-hmm.
In that relationship, I was not, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's not.
But also, I think what's very important to talk about is how after the relationship, how I was really trying to heal and convince myself I was okay, how I realized I was so not, and being so vulnerable and looking for love in the wrong places. How you feel is usually how you attract. And oh my God, dating since then has been such an uphill battle. Like, it's insane. I'm like, oh my God, like, just
The
getting
streets.
yeah, these streets are wild. And it's all like getting pushed down and getting back up again. Like, the way that you introduced me, I really am so like grateful for, because resilience has been my motto. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what, I'm going to be okay. I know that because I have been through a lot, as many people have.
Has there been a moment where you stopped and looked around and you were like, I'm very thankful this happened?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I keep telling myself that as more time passes too, I'm like, thank God that happened.
Yeah.
Thank God, especially when it did, because who knows if we did get married, if I did have kids and something like that happened, what the fuck?
Oh my God. Just got the chills again. It's so
Yeah.
true. It's like as much as it's painful, it's not better to cut your losses early, but like the fact that you were able to,
Yeah.
that, yes, you didn't have a family. It's bad at any stage of your life,
Yeah.
but what's meant to be will be. And the universe always, like we said before, pushes you in that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I did have so much love for him, but I don't think that we were a good match. I think that I learned a lot from that relationship, and I hope he did too. But I know that my person is entirely different than that. And I'm really, really happy that I got a chance to actually find that person. And I'm almost 33 next week. But being newly single at 31 was crazy because I
Yeah.
thought like I was heading in a certain direction, and starting all over again in your early 30s, that's a rude awakening, but it's also such a blessing because I probably would have never moved to New York if that didn't happen.
I just got the chills again. Oh my
Like,
God. It's so
yeah.
fucking true. And I think you made the right decision in moving, first of all, to New York.
Mhm.
Because number one, you will never heal where you were hurt in the place that you
Never.
were hurt.
Never,
It
yeah.
like I did the exact same thing. I went through a terrible breakup. I was
Really?
broken up with in fucking Hawaii at 6 a.m. on vacation.
No.
And
What?
yeah, terrible.
No.
But I moved to New York. I went
Really?
from Hawaii to New York. I didn't even go back to LA.
I
Literally,
love it.
literally.
It's every like heartbreak
Seriously.
solution. Move to New York.
Move to
Yeah.
fucking New York. It is the most electric place. I think
Yeah.
there's opportunity around every single corner. You can meet someone if you go out to a laundromat or to Soho House. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
matter where you go.
Yes. Getting your coffee, make sure you look cute.
Yeah. So, I mean, did this change like how you view dating and how you view love and just
Yes. And how I viewed myself. Like I felt like I really blossomed.
got that glow up?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you're always glowing. So,
You too.
but-
You too. No, I just feel like I finally got to be who I wanted to be. Like, there's no mold here, which is so fun. And there's so much stimulation and so much inspiration, and you can evolve like overnight. And I just feel like you're heading in the right direction when every door starts to open up like in the right direction. I found my dream apartment, and all my friends ended up moving to the East Coast. Yeah, I started meeting better people. I never ever did dating apps ever.
Are you on them now?
So,
Are you seeing anyone now? Are you like in a relationship?
well, I'm gonna be private from now on. So I went to a bachelorette like, I don't know, a year ago, and everyone was single and they were so cute, like beautiful girls. We're all like, how are we all single? What the fuck? And then the wedding came 6 months later, and they all had these cute boyfriends and really nice and down to earth. And I was like, wait a second. I thought we were all single here. Like,
Yeah.
where did you find all these cute boyfriends? And they all met on Raya.
Mm.
I downloaded Raya that night. I was like, enough is enough.
Let me see what we're working with here.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so scared of online dating, but if you can't, I always say this, if you can't find what you're looking for in the shops, then you gotta go online,
Yeah.
do some online shopping.
That should be like their new tagline.
Yeah.
I think that there's similar amount of fate of bumping into someone on the street than it is swiping online, meeting
Yeah.
them. Like
Yeah.
it's 25.
I also probably wasn't ready to meet someone for a
Mhm.
while. So, like, anything I was dealing with for about a year after that breakup was just bound to be a disaster.
Yeah. That's what happens. Like you said, like what you're thinking and how you're feeling is what you're going to attract. So like
Right.
if you're not ready for it, you take whatever because maybe also the love that you were receiving before felt so empty or something that you're
Right.
like willing to accept something that is not right for you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, once you go on that journey and you start loving yourself more, you're like, I'm setting the bar. I'm setting the example of how you should love me. This is it.
Absolutely.
And now you can board this train.
Yes, you learn more and more what you deserve and what
Yeah.
your worth is.
Did your list of non-negotiables change after your breakup?
I mean, I probably shouldn't get political, but after the election, I was like, this is very clear for me. Like,
Yeah.
I I can't do that. So that was a non-negotiable for me. And then just being a good person, I think, is just the most important. I think the way that people treat someone that won't do anything for them is so valuable.
Yeah.
Like, that person's not going to further your career, but you better say hello and thank you and you're welcome and just be kind. Ambition is very important for me. I think that we should always be working on ourselves to be better, to make the world a better place in some way or another. And a family guy. We want a family guy.
Gigi for president.
Oh God, no. I
Or for
sound like
Miss America. I don't know.
God, no. I just think, I don't know, just be nice.
So as 2 years have now gone by, there have been recent headlines circulating again
Mm-hmm.
of whether or not they are an item again,
Mm-hmm.
or for the first time. We don't know. How has that made you feel? How has that brought up emotions? Has it validated your gut?
It's interesting. It's something that I would love to not have to see as much, but that's just the reality that I'm gonna have to live in by dating someone that is very much in the public eye. I'm always gonna probably see his face around, unfortunately. It was funny. I saw that pop up like as I was leaving and about to fly and put my phone on airplane mode, and it like literally popped up on Google News, and I'm like, God damn, like
Couldn't have waited
really
2 more minutes.
literally, like I'm about to snooze for the next 12 hours. I don't know. Again, like I said, like I hope that if they're meant to be, that they're meant to be. It's really none of my business anymore. Like that's
Right.
what I really wanted the end to be, is to just to walk away from that, because it's a fucking circus. Like the way that they handle things for headlines or whatnot, like I don't live that way. So you do you. It's none of my business anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you said your friends were all there for you back then, but was there anyone else in this scenario professionally that was protecting you back then?
My agents were very supportive. They said, move to New York, get out of here,
Get the fuck out
run.
of the city.
They were really amazing, and I am so grateful for them for that. I don't know. I think there were certain people that probably thought I should have handled it differently,
In what way? Like, what would they expect you to do?
be louder.
Oh,
And I wasn't
okay.
ready to do that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready. I respect anyone who can do that, but I was hurting so bad that I was just a shell of myself. And I can now speak on it because I feel like I can laugh on it.
Mhm.
But for a long time, I was not laughing.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot.
I feel like anyone that would suggest you get loud in that moment would be suggesting that you should be doing it to get clout.
Right.
Like, that doesn't feel natural.
What's funny though is that even by not saying anything, people were somehow saying that, and it's in the past, and I'm ready to move forward and let that all go. And I get so protective of any of my girlfriends that are dealing with the bare minimum and allowing it and accepting it. Like, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's really not okay. And even if there is love there that was special at a time, like as soon as it gets toxic, either get a therapist, a couples therapist, or walk away. I don't know. That's the only solution.
No, I agree. Life's too short to be putting up with something. Granted, this is all nuanced. If you've been with someone for 20 years and
Of course.
there's that sunk cost fallacy of like, we don't want to walk away. We've put so much time in. I get working on it.
Of
But
course.
at our age, it's like life is so precious. Time is so precious. If someone is treating you like shit, do not put up with it. Point blank.
Yeah, because right now we're choosing the person we're going to be with for the rest of our
Yeah.
life. Dating now for me is very different from when I was dating in my 20s. I was, having fun and not really thinking about further down the line. But of course, if you meet the right person, you meet the right person. But right now, I'm really trying to be cognizant of my time because our time is precious. And just if it's not it, I'm not going to waste your time, and don't waste mine.
Yeah. If you today could go back in time to when this happened
Hmm.
and stand up for that Gigi, what would you say to the public?
That's a really good question. I think I would just say, I deserve better than this. Your person, like I said, should have your back. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm not gonna play this game. I'm really, really not. I tried my best. I really do think that I put my best forward, and I just had nothing left in me at that point. I was holding on for dear life. And if you're holding on and there's nothing to hold on to anymore, like you're gonna fall.
Yeah. For what it's worth, you did better than most people's best. Like,
Mm.
you did the best just for a human, not just for you and not for just this scenario. You could have gone kicking and screaming. You handled it with such grace.
Thank
And
you.
like, I just remember seeing the post of you walking down the city of New York saying, know your worth and on to the next.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's fucking go.
Yes.
I remember, I think I commented on that
Oh,
post and I still get likes to this day on
I
it. Like,
love
people are
that.
still, that was just like a mic drop, fuck off. I'm living in a new city now. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm living a new life. I'm going to rewrite this narrative that everyone else thinks that they can write for me.
Mhm.
And, this is in the past and like new Gigi 2.0 now.
Absolutely. That's what I just wanted to say. Like, I am actually not a part of this narrative anymore, and I am walking away. It's funny because my friend and I were going to dinner. We were walking to Pastis from where I was living at the time, and all of us are such hype girls to one another. And I was just walking, and she took that video. And later, when everything blew up, it wasn't even planned. Like, oh yeah, get a video of me walking down the street and like knowing like, fuck that, I'm walking away. Like that wasn't planned whatsoever. I called someone who is in the industry and I asked them, I said, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like the media is swallowing me up right now and I'm not saying anything. News sources were calling. Everyone was like, give us a statement. And they just said, like, listen, you can just keep quiet, wait till it blows over, or just say that everyone's wondering whether you guys are broken up or not. Like, are you? So finally I was like, yes, I don't want people thinking I'm with that person
Yeah.
anymore. Like, absolutely not. So then my friends and I came up with know your fucking worth and on to the next because that's just not it.
That's amazing.
And then we played Taylor Swift and jumped on the couch for like a good 10 minutes and like everything was, yeah, I'm really glad that at least at a point where I felt so low, it did feel like I finally gained some
Control.
sense of control again. Finally, like, yeah, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. That's one thing I definitely would tell myself.
But
Don't be.
yeah, and you did it in a great way. I can't even imagine going through a breakup and then also having to deal with like people calling you to comment on it, and you're like, "This is my fucking breakup."
Right. And
Like,
everything can be misconstrued and misinterpreted and all these things that I was just like, if you just don't know what to say, don't say anything at all. But then, that wasn't reciprocated. They said certain things that I wasn't okay with the distance and all that. Like my whole life I've been traveling for work. Like I've learned how to deal with distance
right?
relationships. It's just a matter of communication, emotional intelligence, and respect.
Yeah.
Like those are the things that you need to have as a foundation, especially if you're traveling all the time.
Did he ever make a public statement about you guys being broken up?
I'm not sure. I think there was an article that came out about how like that we had many problems beforehand and it wasn't that and whatever. But
But that wasn't the case,
I mean, what it was just that phone call I got.
right?
That phone call really is what broke me. I thought we had hope, like maybe when I got there that like things would maybe get better, but once I got that phone call, I just knew it was done. I had lost whoever that person was that I loved.
When that happened, that was 6 months after there had been that speculation in the media already.
I just knew when I found out that they were doing a movie together, I was like, fuck yeah. I think they're both amazing actors.
Yeah.
But I went to Australia and it was very brief because of what he said. Like, I don't think you should come. I went anyways, just to look him in the eye and break up with him. But then I was stuck there for 2 weeks doing my jobs. And there was a rule like I was not allowed near set. I was not allowed anywhere near production. It was very bizarre.
So when you flew out there, did you wait 2 weeks to break up with him? Or you did it
No,
right away and
I
then
did it right away.
so were you guys still communicating after that for the 2 weeks that you were still there? Or
Yeah, it was so, oh, that was so bleak. Yeah, I had to like, it was just our goodbye. So like, there was lots of tears, there were lots of things, lots of conversations were had, and we like tried to kind of keep it on good terms in some sort of way. But then as soon as I left and more things started coming out, like I just was so frustrated at how disrespectful it all was. Like, at least have your publicist make a statement or something on my behalf, call me and say, okay, how should we address this?
right.
There were weeks that went by, I didn't hear a single thing. It's crazy how transactional
The whole business.
that
Yeah.
industry is. And that's why I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't play that way.
I truly can't even imagine. Like I said before, the breakup is hard, but like having that extra layer and having it not be in your control of what's said. And it's, I am a firm believer in it's so much more important of what you think about yourself than what others think about you.
Yeah.
And like, I very fractional experience with internet drama compared to
Hmm.
what you went through. But same thing, it was very much like I have to just let it run its course
Yes.
and people just have to kind of get it out of their system because the media and people, society can be vultures and they just sit and feast and everyone
Feast.
forgets that there's someone actually on the receiving end of this
Yeah. They
that's being
love,
preyed upon.
absolutely. They love the drama
Yeah.
and they eat it up. But I also learned, and I'm so sorry that happened to you too, because it's so hard to try to appease everyone
Yeah.
and let your story truly be told because everyone is going to have an opinion. But I've learned, like, most of the time, the people that don't like you, I don't really like them.
100%.
And that's something I've really come to peace with as I get older. I'm like, wait a second. I don't really care if they don't like me because I don't really like them.
Yep. Those who mind don't matter and the ones who matter don't mind.
Yeah,
Dr. Seuss.
exactly. Love that. Teach them young.
Yeah, it's so true. Like
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it should all just be noise. But at the same time, like that does not change the fact that we are human and it affects us.
It
And
hurts.
then there's the side of people who are like, well, you're in the public eye. This is what you signed up for. And it's
Right.
like, fuck you.
Right. You're still keeping the side of your street clean, but there's only so much you can control.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
especially when there are people who are trying to capitalize on it for
Hmm.
press. And then it's
Hmm.
like, well, then you can't win.
Yeah. At that point, I think that's when you just have to take a step back and just let it happen and then come out with an even better and bigger opportunity that you have done.
And you as well.
Look at that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm always big on making lemonade out of lemons.
Hmm.
I know you said stand up for yourself and everything, but if you could give our audience like 3 top lessons that you've taken from it all, from your lemons.
My lemons. Okay. Healing is not chronological. It's not going to happen in the way that you want. When you're just trying to go, go, go and heal as quick as possible, really, really take a second to just pause. Just be kind to yourself. Do what brings you joy. Like, I became addicted to endorphins, literally, like any sort of activity that had me sweating or sport or whatever. Like, I was just like, get me moving. I just want to be out of my head. And focus on yourself. Like, what are the things that were holding you back all those years that now you can finally focus on and give less fucks about what other people think?
Give less fucks.
Yeah.
Literally give less fucks.
I love people that are so outspoken and are so themselves and so free. Like, I love that. I feel like we're all under a microscope now, especially with social media. Like, everything is commented on and liked and everything. But, like, what would you want to put out in the world if no one was looking, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I
Just,
love that.
just came up with that.
Dance like no one's
That's
watching.
right.
What advice would you give women going through a breakup, especially ones that cannot seem to shake their ex, whether it's IRL, social media, or billboards?
I really do think the blocking technique is so important. Like, you don't want any window of opportunity for them to slide in, for you to slide in a moment of vulnerability. I know that we want to keep things on good terms, maybe, but like just no contact for a good amount of
Yeah.
time, I think is key.
And muting is a thing now. You don't even have to go full block.
I love the power of
Just
mute.
mute.
Oh my God, I love the power of mute. And I know it's really hard to let go, especially when you have the idea of something. But someone also told me once that when you look back on a relationship, sometimes the best part of the relationship was actually what you brought to the table.
That's absolutely fucking true. It's like when you go on a date and you're like, I laughed the entire time. It's like, were you funny
Yeah.
or were they funny? Like,
Who was laughing
Yeah.
and why? Yeah, it's so true. There is like such beauty in that. And like when you look back, maybe look back on a different lens and be like, okay, that light that was in the relationship, I can take that and bring it into something else that's going to be even better. I do know that it can be disheartening when you just like cannot find someone you actually like. I'm like, where are they? But you eventually do. I can vouch for that for sure. They are out there.
They are.
Don't lower your standards. Just because the sex is good, it's not worth sticking around.
Agreed. Agreed.
I've fallen into that trap before. Yeah, finding someone that lets you shine. Like, you should
Mhm.
be the loudest person in the room. You should be making everyone laugh. And your guy,
And it can also be a balance. Like,
it
you
can
both can. You both
absolutely.
should.
Yes. So I think that's important. Oh, yeah. How the worst thing that happens to you can sometimes be the best.
9 times out of 10, I would say that is the
Usually,
case.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it just makes you stronger and it makes you the person you are today,
Mhm.
which I can stand here and say that I'm very proud of the person I am today. And I really needed to grow up a lot and toughen up and learn how this world works and like learn who my people are.
Yeah. And that comes with time and experience, and it honestly, it comes with heartbreak. Like,
Yeah,
just because you have your heart broken does not mean that you are broken.
no.
And there comes a moment where you can either, as my mom always says, shit or get off the pot. You know, it's these moments that you're faced with the adversity, and that shows your true character. It's like, are you going to push through? Are you going to quit and sit on your pity pot? My mom spent some time in the South. I have a lot of
Yeah,
sayings
I
like this.
love it.
But there comes that moment, and like it is so defining of who you will be and also the people you will end up raising.
Mm,
Who are you going to tell them to stick it out for or leave? Or would you tell your daughter to accept this same level of respect and this same level of
right.
love? I think that's such an important way to approach relationships and dating. Sometimes the worst of them give you the best lessons, and
Yeah.
you can walk away a bigger, better person. And I didn't know you very well before this happened. I can't imagine that you were a worse off person. So I think that you just got even better than you were and the wonderful self that you were
Oh.
and that you still are. And it's older, hotter, wiser.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we are. I feel like in our 30s, watching all my friends get married now and have kids, I think it's important that we don't hold our value to our relationships. Like, just because we don't have a guy at our side right now doesn't mean that we're any less than. Like, it's gonna be okay. We're holding off for the right thing. And I think that's important. I'd much rather be alone than be with the wrong person. That's a huge, huge lesson of mine. Fill up your own cup
Hmm.
so the cup overfloweth, and then
Yeah.
you can fill up everyone else's in the
Yeah.
best way possible.
Well, thank you so much
I
for
know,
coming
this was
on.
so fun.
I'm so glad we did this. Also, so glad that this has come full circle of
Yeah.
me taking little Instagram photos of you 10 years ago to now having you in my studio and on the
Yeah.
podcast. And I'm like just so excited for everything that you have to come and all these next chapters. You are a force, and
Me too.
I have so much respect for you and how you've handled all of this with grace. Like, it's fucking hard to do. And, you know, I'm saying all of this. It was 2 years ago. We
Yeah.
are past it. You are not that
100%.
person anymore. Like, we are revisiting the conversation
Yeah.
and what happened, but that does not mean that you've been sitting here dwelling on it or anything like that, because you haven't.
No.
And that shows very much in your career and who you are, how you carry yourself and everything. So
Thanks.
just know that you're a fucking rock star. Not a lot of people could have or would have handled all of this the way you did.
You just gotta keep moving forward, give less fucks,
Yeah.
and have fun. And I'm really proud of you. I've been cheering you on from the sidelines for a while, watching this all unfold, and I'm just really excited to see how
Yeah.
you grow too. So,
Lemonade, baby.
yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you would like to follow Gigi, you can find her at Miss Gigi Paris,
That's
right?
right.
That's her handle everywhere, right? TikTok, Instagram, everything.
I think so. I'm not much of a TikToker.
We're in our 30s.
Yeah. I'm an observer of
Yeah.
TikTok.
Well, if you want to find her on Instagram, then it's Miss Gigi Paris, and you know where to find me. Maybe Emma's too much on all the platforms. Give a girl 5 stars. Like, comment, leave your comments for Gigi, show your support. And that's it, guys. I will see you next week.
Bye.